Somerset did their best to cajole Surrey into setting them a target on the last day of their LV County Championship match, but the visitors to Taunton were happy to take the points for a draw. Surrey began the final day on 58 without loss for an overall lead of 81 with Rory Burns and Zafar Ansari at the crease. Burns had a torrid time at the start, this being one of 3 blows to the body he took off the bowling of Alfonso Thomas. But he bravely survived and recorded his 4th 50-plus score in 12 championship innings this season. In a troubled summer for his county, Burns has been a real find and appears to be growing in confidence with every innings. Surrey could have tried to give their hosts a tough target on the last afternoon, but with their relegation rivals Worcestershire and Lancashire having no chance of winning their games, a draw was always going to be enough to keep Surrey out of the bottom 2. So Burns and Ansari batted on in a normal fashion throughout the best part of the opening hour, in which this pair put on their county's first 100 opening stand of the season. That was ended on 102, just after Burns had scored his 500th championship run of the season. He was taken by Alex Barrow at short leg off George Dockrell for 60. Aaron Haranath should have gone very early on in his innings, but after a horrible mix-up with Ansari, he survived after Joss Butler missed the stumps with his throw. Ansari was not so lucky when he edged a drive off Sajid Mahmood to Marcus Trescothick to go for 39 and 118 for 2. With Kevin Peterson now in, it was clear that the scoring rate was going to increase. Kids are always told to hit the ball straight, and Peterson struck a ball from Dockrell so straight that it smashed into our camera behind the bowler. Then, after lunch, Somerset tried to get Surrey to declare by offering some easy pickings. Peterson hit another 6 to go to another 50, but he then struck Chris Jones straight to Barrow to give Jones his maiden wicket. And what a one to have. After 4 overs of Jones and James Hildreth, everything returned to normal with no signs of an agreement between the 2 captains. Xander de Brain then edged Dockrell to Trescothick. But the game was starting to peter out now, with Surrey batting on 232 for 4 and leading by 255. Jason Roy added 6 more to that. There was no real pressure on any of the players who were now playing out time, although Haranath made the most of the situation. His half-century had occupied 119 deliveries, but as with Burns before him, it did show what kind of form he's been in of late. Neither he nor Burns would have expected to be in this side at the season's start, but they've done their futures no harm at all in recent weeks. Roy has had a slightly less successful time of late. He was bowled by a snorter from Mahmood on this occasion for 28. The remainder of the match was all about Haranath, who probably sat down at tea and thought to himself, I've got 100 for the taking here. Having only scored a couple before in his first-class career, he saw this as a chance, and so he began to play some shots as the match drew to its inevitable conclusion. Haranath had scored a ton just a few weeks ago against Middlesex, which helped his side to win a very important contest. This was a slightly less important but equally as impressive knock from the 25-year-old. He moved rapidly through the 90s to get to 3 figures from 179 deliveries, an innings which had contained 11 fours, the majority of those coming after he'd got to his 50. And soon after he got to his 100, that was that, with Surrey ending on 360 for 5 and Haranath finishing on 105 not out. This game, which was not without incident, was drawn. Surrey will be happy with their 9 points, which pulls them 17 clear of the bottom 2 with 2 games to play. Somerset will almost certainly now have to wait another year for their first championship title. The 8-point stay accrued leaves them 36 behind the leaders Warwickshire.